What's up, guys? Potter and Powell here for the Other Side Show, part 2 of a 2-part episode.
Yeah, this is the second part of our interview with Issa Isaacs, also known as GlitterGirl. We had a really good time filming this interview, as we said. We got a really good response from people with part 1. We really liked it, and the second one, we think it's going to be just as good, if not better. All our social networking stuff's below. Check us out on Facebook, say hi, leave some comments, let us know what you think. As well, Issa's information is down below, so you can find out more about the temple and how you can take classes, check out the Expo, all that stuff. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. We'll see you next time.
See you!
It's beautiful hearing you talk about the that drive and willingness and interest in helping people experience these same feelings that you're feeling, and I think a lot of us that are pretty immediately drawn to Poi. There's a lot of us that when we pick it up and it's, oh my gosh, and we don't put it down again. And there's something that I just from talking to a lot of people that are involved in Poi, but flow arts in general, Poi, hoop, juggling, even there's something that people have a really hard time articulating about what it does for them, and for a lot of people, it does skirt that line between just utterly spiritual and blissful in that way, and I think some people it kind of scares them a little bit, but for a lot of people it's just it's really something that we can embrace, and whatever world view or cosmic view we have, we can. It works with this because we know that this feels really, really good. There's just something about it that just feels just right, and that it's right. And so wherever whatever other realizations or understanding you come to, you know that this feels really good. And so it's cool that you want to share that with people. And from my perspective, you're doing a really great job. And when I first started learning how to spin Poi, some of your videos were some of the first, they were some of the prominent videos that were available at the time. I think your performance at the Expo that was on YouTube was really instrumental for me, and my little sister is still. Yes, you're one of her favorite Poi spinners. The only Poi spinner she knows in North Carolina, in her little hometown, and she, is like, oh my gosh, GlitterGirl's got a new video, amazing,
Oh, awesome! Oh, that's cool. It's weird. It's also cool. Because it's weird. It's weird having people from halfway around the world like emailing and saying thank you. I mean, because I'm like, are you thanking me for being me? The best thank you could give me is for you to be you, and shine. Show up and shine. That's
Well, so that takes me to another question that I had is, where is there a line between Issa and GlitterGirl at all in sort of the, you have a brand, I think GlitterGirl is safe to say it's it's a brand, like I said, my little sister in North Carolina knows about so cool. Is there a line, or do you have a character sort of that you slip into when you're more promoting that brand?
I mean, I'm pretty transparent. No, not really. I think I'm both. I'm both GlitterGirl and Issa at all times. But I think I can take on, I think when I'm being Issa in the classroom, I am a little bit more, I'm more serious because I'm supposed to be an educator, but I'm a total ham in class too, so, not
it's
really.
a two-way street.
Yeah. No, I'm transparent in who I am in as much as is possible for, the safety of myself and others. Do not get on please keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times.
So it's probably fortunate for you though that you just happen to be this character that I think people really like and recognize.
I think I developed a character in response. I think it was a mutual thing. I think that the career informed the character, and the character informed the career. I was GlitterGirl before I spun Poi, and then I was GlitterGirl the DJ as well. So I had to give up DJing because I was doing the school. Actually, I just didn't have enough time to do both. So, they work well together. I mean, I think of my Issa self as more the like, I'll introduce myself as GlitterGirl as my brand, but I will speak to you as Issa, if that makes sense. I mean, it's really just a name, but I mean, I'm the Flow Fairy. I'm also the Poi Priestess, so I just like alliteration. Issa Isaacs, Flow Fairy, GlitterGirl, Poi Priestess, and, you know. So, but then there's Den Mom, so I don't know. That one doesn't work.
Not so much.
No. But, you know, you could say DM, Dungeon Master. I am really a geek. Yeah.
So tell me about the
banner?
Yeah, the banner, the articles.
Well, the article actually, I think the article was really pretty life-altering for me because it was when my mother first started taking me seriously. I think my mom thought I was a little crazy. I mean, I don't blame her. I really don't, because I think what's so cool about what I've done is because it was so crazy. But the article happened because we were out back on the alley, and so this building, we are at Temple of Poi right now, and this building is located right next to the Chronicle building. When the Chronicle when newsprint actually happened more, and John Curley, who was one of the editors of the magazine, happened upon me in the alley, and he was like, "Wow, we should do an article on this," and so they did. And then it ended up making the cover of the Sunday early edition, and then it was the cover story in the feature section. So, you know, that's big. That's big. That's a big deal. It's not like a little thing. And so my mom was like, "Whoa, okay, all right." I mean, and like, so for me, I was really proud of that moment because my mom was proud of me. I mean, I have to say it like that. I mean, it's really difficult for me from my perspective. I mean, my mom may not feel this way, but I have felt like it's really difficult to get her approval. So when my mom, you know, when I get the little gold star from mom, that feels good. So I had to put that on
and your inner child.
Yeah, right. Yes, it's definitely partly my inner child. And then the SF Weekly one was when I got the gold star from Dad. So it was the front page of. So for those of you not in San Francisco, the SF Weekly is a rag, you know, one of these bigger size rags, and it was like a 5-page feature article. It was huge. It was a huge article. It was really weird. And then what happened was, so this happened in 2004 was the article in November. It was like election day. And then in the following spring, they had this New Living Expo, and I was like, okay, I need to expand the market. I need to find open-minded freaks who have money. You know, alternative individuals who would spend money. So I decided I was going to go and get a booth at the New Living Expo. And the booth was not really big enough to actually spin inside. So I was like, So I got a double booth. So I spent like basically $4,000 I invested. I considered this a marketing investment in having the space at the event, from which I got no business. No business at all. But I did get this banner. My consolation prize is this banner. And, well, we got a lot more than that as a community. So at that event, I decided, well, here's what I need to do. I need people to see what we do, so I need to do a performance. And the New Living Expo happened to be happening at the same time as National Dance Week. So as part of National Dance Week, I mean, they gave out catalogs. I advertised a show that I ended up doing as a renegade outside of the concourse on the corner of 7th and Brannan, where we had, Waldemar actually performed in it. He took I love Waldemar. He took photos of it and he performed in it. It's so awesome.
That's epic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
He takes the best pictures.
He does.
Really
He's
good.
amazing.
We're going to have to put up a link to some of his pictures or something if we can.
We can
He's
actually,
got some really good fire
yes,
photos.
there's, right now on your screen, there are photos from the expo happening right now.
They were there, this one right there.
What most surprised me about it was people were literally spilling out into the street. There were like hundreds of people that came to watch the show. I was like, holy shit, people want to see what we have to do. I mean, we were wearing like street clothing basically, just like fire safe street clothing. It wasn't like, this is not like the production quality that we're doing at the expo now. So I was like, okay, all right. If I spent $4,000 and I got nothing from it, I might as well create a show where I at least get to perform. And, wouldn't it be cool if we could find a real venue? Well, fast forward, like 6 months later, or something like that, my girlfriend Susie connects me with one of the people from the San Francisco Food Bank, and they were at the time were doing an annual canned food drive in Union Square, and they asked us to perform. And I was like, well, I mean, yes. And I got on TV also from that, which was really awesome, more press. And then I had taken care of the permits, and I knew how that was done. And I was like, okay, So I decided that next year I was going to take the $4,000 and invest it in doing a show. So,
Nice. So that's how it started.
That's how it started. Yeah.
Cool. And so, brief spiel on the Expo now. Like,
the Expo is the
how
largest
do you
free,
describe it?
legal, public fire dancing show in the Western Hemisphere,
There
and
it is.
this year is the 8th one in Union Square, 2013. Although it is the 9th show if you count the one that happened on that street corner, which I do because it was because of that show. I mean, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be doing this. I was like, okay, no, we need something serious. It was the moment where I had the foresight that there really was an opportunity here. Although I have to tell you, I went back and I looked at footage from the first Expo. It's completely crazy. People were actually up on the stage with us. We had a ring of cauldrons, and people. I was like, oh whoa! I looked and I was like, that is so unsafe. If somebody had lost a tool, it would have gone straight into somebody's face. Oh my god! Well, I mean, I don't think we expected that many people to show up. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really glad that it has evolved the way it is, and it's safe now, and we have a good perimeter, and there's no possibility of bowling into someone's jaw. Yeah, no.
That's always bad news.
Yeah, totally. It is, yeah. So it's not that way anymore. Yeah, but that, I mean, the show definitely has evolved. I mean, the permitting process evolved substantially. I mean, it was...
So you had to be one of the first people going to them asking for that kind of permit.
I, in fact, helped them. They still use a safety... If you go to the fire department now, you have to fill out the fire safety sheet or whatever, and it's a form that I made for them, for and with them back in, I guess, when I was doing the event in Union Square for the San Francisco Food Bank. So, yeah, I mean, it was, yes. But then, as the art form started getting bigger, I mean, I would say like in the 2007, 8 range, more events were trying to do it, and they were like super casual about it, and then I don't know if this is true. The rumor that I heard is something happened, and something happened at an event on Treasure Island, and one of the fire people said, hey, wait, we need to change the rules. So they really gave me a load of crap before the 2009 show, and made me jump through like ring after ring after ring after ring after
Line
ring.
them all up for you.
Oh, it was ridiculous. The process really dramatically changed, and it took. I think the actual permit process took me like 29 or 30 hours to actually get the permit that year. It was totally crazy, and it was literally up till the last minute. I was like, I don't even know if we're gonna have a show, guys. They won't tell us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has it gotten better since then?
Definitely.
They've gotten used to you.
They've gotten used to me, but also I know, like having jumped through the hoops, I systematized the whole thing, and now I hand them a packet that's like an inch thick, and it has, it's completely ridiculous, but I have to get every artist in the show that's performing to sign a sheet saying, I'm gonna not spin off, I'm not gonna toss, I'm not gonna wear synthetics, I've used white gas, here's the video showing me spinning fire, and like everybody signs it. I have to hand them in for everybody, I have to have it organized by group, I have to have full descriptions, I have to have a map of everything. I mean, I understand why they do it, and I mean, it's much easier now to jump through the hoops. It's a waste of paper. I feel like I wish I could do it electronically. I mean,
maybe that's something you can organize for them, or have someone
Maybe.
organize for them.
Maybe. I mean, good luck with that.
I guess it is the state of California. Yeah.
And just general bureaucracy. Yeah. Oh, it's a lot. Yeah. I mean, but so after the article appeared in the SF Weekly, 10:30 in the morning, one of the San Francisco fire inspectors knocks on the door of the temple. they like for 2 hours were there with me because they're like, you're not doing this indoors. I'm like, no, are you crazy? And no, I'm not spinning fire in this room. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not doing that. But I mean, like, I had to explain to him, no, we do it on the street. And then it led to a whole conversation where I actually tried to work it out with the fire department that I could get an ongoing permit to teach my fire class. And they're like, no. If you want to teach your fire class, you have to get a street closure permit, you have to get insurance, and you also have to get a fire permit. And the fire permit has more than doubled in price, I think, since I started the show. I mean, it's up to $842 now, I believe. But I think when I first started doing it, it was like $460 or $40 or something like that. Much cheaper.
And that's one time. They don't have any setup or
one time, 4 hours. And if you
recording.
need it for more than 4 hours, you have to pay an additional 4 hours. Even if you only need it for 4 hours and 5 minutes, you have to pay an additional 4 hours for the inspector to be there.
Wow.
Yeah. One time
That's
only.
crazy.
It is. And then you need, I mean, you need a sound permit as well. I mean, if you want to do it legally, you need a sound permit. I mean, it doesn't pay. But this is why we do
Especially free shows rarely pay that much anyway.
That's very true.
Hardly ever.
Yeah, no. I mean, the ticket itself is only $300 if you're caught and you get fined. And I'm not even sure I know anybody who's even had to pay the ticket. I mean, I did get ticketed once, but I didn't. No. I mean, what?
Oh no, I mean about not paying it.
Oh no. What happened was the guy who ticketed me was the guy who had given me crap at the 2009 Expo in the process. He was the guy that I was dealing with, and he knew who I was, and he picked me out of a group of people at the jam. This is when the jam had started, and I wasn't even spinning. And he walks through the crowd, through 5 people who are spinning, and he comes to me and he's like, I'm giving you a ticket because I told you if people were spinning here, you were going to get a ticket. And he can't actually issue the ticket. He has to wait there for a cop to show up for the cop to issue the ticket. And when they wrote the ticket out, they wrote it out with the wrong code. So the ticket, they had to dismiss the ticket. Because I was like, next day I was like on the phone like, I need, what is this code? Tell me what you're giving me a ticket for. And it was something about being indoors or whatever, and that wasn't on a construction site, which was, I was like, this is not, I called the police chief, and I was like, no, Miss Isaacs, your ticket has been dismissed due to a clerical error. So that was good.
Sweet.
I've heard of a few people getting tickets around San Francisco, but no one that I know of for sure. And in general, most of my experiences and the experiences of my friends are when you deal with police when you're spinning in an unpermitted fashion. Usually, you explain to them the safety procedures that you're using, and they let you continue doing your thing. But usually it's, if they ask you to leave, it's things can be mitigated fairly easily by just complying and leaving.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
But it's unfortunate. It can be really difficult to foster a community when you are being chased around because people don't understand what you're doing. It's for anyone who's not into fire spinning, it's one of those things. It looks a lot more dangerous than it actually is. There's fire, so there clearly are dangers involved, but it's less dangerous than it actually appears to. And so. I mean,
it's like running your hand through a candle is just a really big candle.
Exactly.
Basically.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that a lot of cops and fire departments, when you show them what you're doing, they tend to get it. But there are times when we get hassled and we get chased around. And
That's true.
what are your experiences with that? And you also run, you don't run, but you have been instrumental in encouraging the community to have a large fire jam in San Francisco for quite a while now, and we're right around the anniversary, right?
Yeah, we just celebrated 4 years this month, actually. So I'm not going to say when. I'm not going to say it too publicly, but find me on Facebook and convince me you're not a police officer, and I'll talk to you. Yeah, we gather, but we have gotten chased around a lot. We started off. It was actually semi-sanctioned. We had been doing rehearsals over at Mint Plaza, which is right next to the Mint building, this is the place where I got that ticket. And that was actually when we stopped doing it there, was after After the fire marshal was so clear about it, because the security guards were letting us do it there. I mean, and it's like, okay, well, if you're, I mean, why not? We're not hurting anything. What's gonna, there's nothing to burn down. What's the problem? I mean, and seriously, that building withstood the fire, at the early part of last century. Like, what is there to worry about here? So we left there and we went over to Pier 7 on Embarcadero, and then we got chased off by the security guards on there. Then we went to the median between Embarcadero and northbound and southbound Embarcadero, across from the ferry building. We were on the center space there.
Right
No, not
in between the two the two pillars.
in between the two pillars. Yeah, where the tracks are, and we were there for a while, and then we bounced back and forth between there and the Pier 7, and then we were in Justin Herman for a while. We actually had a really cool experience in Justin Herman Plaza, where I mean, this happened 2 months in a row, I think, where 8 cops rolled up on us, and, we're trying to shut it down, but the event was, I mean, probably close to 100 people, maybe more, and I think that because nobody was willing to take responsibility for being the organizer, they didn't really know how to shut it down, and, they stood around looking at us, and,
I actually remember being there for that. It was really funny. They just kind of stood there and scratched their heads and just walked away.
I mean, I mean, is it worth it to try and chase us off? I think they saw that we weren't really hurting anybody, and, we're not hurting ourselves, we're not hurting anybody, we're not hurting anything. What's the problem? And I think they got it, and it happened 2 months in a row. But then we started getting hassled there, and then, things have happened. We've done it down at the Arrow. I've done several other, spots where we tried to do it. But, I mean, the jam is actually now considerably larger. It's not like we could fit in somebody's driveway. I mean, we need a...
I remember the last
Space
time we
for a
did
couple
try
of
and fit it
people.
in someone's driveway.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I do.
I remember that as well, and I just really feel like it's just they wouldn't even, you couldn't even get just the photographers in somebody else's driveway anymore.
And it was a really, really big driveway. It was a very big driveway.
Very big driveway. Yeah, but no, yeah, it's really big. It's awesome. It's wonderful to see too. I mean, and it's a great place where you said it before. It's a great equalizer, and I feel like the jam is it's a great equalizer. Everybody can come together, be inspired, play together. I mean, I know the newer people are sometimes more intimidated to step into the circle, but I mean, we all started somewhere.
As soon as they do, though, they have the most fun.
Yeah, that's surrender. No.
This jam is really interesting and unique from a lot of other jams in the sense that the community has encouraged photographers to come out, and great pain's been put into making sure there's a lot of photographers out there, and so it's probably 2 to 1 photographers at this point, if not more.
We might be almost at 1 to 1. We might be almost. I think we are now maybe 1/3 photographers, 1/3 artists, 1/3 friends. So I think it's really awesome because it's we bring instant audience, we have photographic evidence that it happened, and then we have the experience of being able to share our art form with each other. I mean, it's like a little micro festival, Ooh, we get to have our little monthly micro festival, and I actually, it's really starting to bloom a lot lately. I feel like the photographers and the artists are really having a lot more conversation and dialogue with each other, and as a result, there's even more growth happening. And I think a whole other art form is being born from fire photography. And there's a lot more opportunity for people to be represented visually, for photographers to have fun with time-lapse photos. I mean, it's just really interesting. And then playing with different props and how the different props interact with the photography. It's just really interesting to see the evolution of each of the photographers as well.
Yeah, everyone wins.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, it's just a whole new way to inspire.
Yeah, I think the photographing of fires should be a whole different show in and of itself. It's, the art that people are able to capture, with the geometry that people can do with the different props.
It's true.
Really fascinating. Some beautiful stuff going on with it. So yeah, that's the. I really enjoy the fact that there's a large group of people. And one of the things that I really enjoyed, in particular about, say, Justin Herman Plaza, was its location to there were a lot of tourists that came by, and there's just a lot of
exposure.
People who have no experience with the art or the community whatsoever walking through, And I really love that, be able to tell, have people coming through, what is going on, what is this, be able to give them some information, give them a card, and know there's a decent, decent chance they won't do anything with it, but there's a chance that they're going to go, and they're going to learn about Poi, and they're going to have some kind of really cool life-changing experience with it.
Well, we were able to advertise the expo there too, which was really useful too, letting people.
That was huge, I'm sure.
Oh, it's helpful. Definitely. I mean, it's standing room only though, so I mean, I would have no way of knowing how effective it really was, because I mean, it's just the plaza just is full.
Yeah.
It's just full. Yeah. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's such a cool experience, looking out there the night of the show, and we now have more photographic evidence of the show as well. So when artists come and perform, nobody has ever gotten paid to come and perform. That's one of the things I absolutely love about it, because it is another equalizer as well. Nobody's ever gotten paid cash to perform. People have gotten travel stipends, but now we offer, as part of the compensation, people get video. But there's last year we had 64 photographers, so people get photographs as well of their performance, and then we do a special photo shoot the next day as well after the expo, so that the artists have that addition to their portfolio. And for people who are traveling in from out of town, I mean, this year we have acts coming in from New York, Florida, Minnesota, Indiana, Kansas, and Canada, as well as Santa Barbara, LA, Wasilla, Oregon, Reno, and then just the awesome people in the Bay Area that are coming to the show too. So, I mean, it's great because they get this photographic evidence with a landmark from another city. So that's pretty fun too.
Sure, and there's not many opportunities where fire performers get to be the person on a large stage in front of a large crowd. Most of the performance opportunities people get are backing a band or as some sort of background thing. Background. or like the smaller ones, barbecues or weddings and things like that. Yeah. I mean, I'd say my largest gig was at the Great America Festival, where there were like 84,000 people there or something. I mean, we were the pre-show for the fireworks. This was down in San Jose in like 2004 or 2005 or something, and I mean, it's completely different, because I looked at the footage of it later, because we were on the news, and so if you imagine the TV screen that you're looking at, the fire dancers are like this big, and there's a talking head next to it, like there's like an anchor person, and we're like right behind them in the background, like this tiny, like that's how far away they were. I'm like, who even could see us, and the closest person is really far, because you're up on this huge stage. I mean, as big as, if not bigger than, Union Square, in a stadium. It's a totally crazy experience. I feel like Union Square is sort of like 3,000 people, 3,500 people, something like that. It's intimate enough to, I mean, it's not intimate. I mean, the stage is 70 feet wide by 30 feet deep. It's not intimate, but it is intimate at the same time. Right. You can see the faces of some of the people, and I mean, it's the Bay Area. That your fire family's out there. There's no doubt, if there's going to be a show in the Bay Area, there's no doubt there's going to be a good percentage of people who spin or want to spin, and there's going to be a good percentage of burners in the audience. But side by side with them, there's the family members of these people, and a lot of the people that get to perform, they're really young, so their parents, their grandparents are Carrie's grandma's going to come back to the show this year. Nice.
So the grandparents are in the audience. And then side by side with that, you have your random tourists who just happen upon this in the middle of Union Square.
Like, Union
Square, San Francisco. It's amazing. And I feel like...
I can't imagine walking out of a restaurant and seeing it. Just seeing that whole spectacle.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no. What used to happen though, like back before the expo, the only really big performance opportunities, you were saying you don't get a lot of opportunities. The Crucible had their Fire Arts Expo show that they do, not to be confused with the Fire Dancing Expo. The Fire Arts Expo was one where they had a lot of sculptures, and they would do a foundry pour, and then like incidentally they would do fire dancing. And, the stage was like a plywood makeshift stage. I mean, it's nothing like getting up on this. I mean, this stage is elegant. It's a grand space. There's nothing grungy about it. And I feel like if our art form is ever going to be perceived, one of my students called me the Martha Graham of Poi. Martha Graham was like an innovator in, she separated from ballet and innovated modern dance. And I sort of feel like if we're ever going to be taken seriously or have the level of stature of ballet or modern dance, we need to step it up, and we need to be having an environment that's grand and beautiful, that will showcase our work in a way that says, hey, we are here, we have this beautiful art form, we're bringing it, and give us some respect and check it out. And by the way, you can do this too. And that's the coolest thing about the Expo, I think. We'll have acts, one year we featured these octogenarians. So one of them I think was 78 and the other one was 92. And they were the opening act.
Wow.
And they didn't spin fire, they just did LED. But it doesn't
That's so
matter.
awesome,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they were using it as part of their occupational therapy. And so they were, it fights Alzheimer's, it gives you bilateral coordination. It's really good for the body and good for the mind. Even if you're not all like crazy into the geekery of it, just even having a discipline and a practice that you continue to return to is just, it's like good for the being, good for the soul, it's good for every aspect of you. So, we'll have everything. We had a pregnant woman one year performing, she performed in 2 different pieces. We had a 3-year-old perform. We've had all different kinds of things. We have,
3-year-old spinning fire.
He was spinning fire.
Whoa.
Yeah, Celsius Maximus and his son.
Nice.
Yeah, which was really cute too, like a father-son act, it's really nice. The show is, and it's not, how I like to say it is this, I feel like we give an opportunity for everybody to show up so that people can be seen for what they have to offer, and I feel like the amateurs have an opportunity to be seen, and through their being seen, it can really help people see because the acts build as the night goes on and people get to see more and more technical skill. I really feel like it creates an opportunity for the audience to be taken on the ride of understanding what mastery looks like. Because they get to, because a buzzsaw does look impressive. If you don't spin fire and you're seeing somebody spin a buzzsaw right here and that fire's in their face, it's like, whoa. We should not forget, because we're all a little, jaded and accustomed to that. It's not that dangerous. But like to the average person, that's impressive. Get to the stuff where it's
a feat of death.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And get to the more and more complex stuff. People, by creating a show this way, people can be taken on that ride and they can really appreciate it beginning to end through the builds. I appreciate you for where you are, and I can really appreciate the more masterful people even more, because I have seen what good is, and now I can understand what great is. Yeah, it's one of the most awesome things. It gives everybody an opportunity, and I love now the evolution of the show. I funded the first 5 shows out of my pocket, which I was going broke, so I finally started taking money. And then when Kickstarter came out, I'm so grateful for Kickstarter. I have to give them a huge plug. Kickstarter has funded the show the last 3 years,
Nice.
so it's been a community funded event, and all you do is produce a show. All you do is. But no small task that is. But it's a community event now, and the community is making it happen. It's wonderful. The community performs. The community finds the people to come. The community funds it.
Everyone has a hand.
Everybody wins. I feel like it's how, as a world, we're going to evolve and overcome our destructive tendencies.
I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
Kickstarter, the idea of the communities funding the arts and, looking out for each other, that's kind of the idea of our show, is to just help promote artists, and that's, I really like Kickstarter. And so you just finished your campaign? Did you close it?
We did. We got a little extra, which is great, because
Wonderful.
Now we have so many acts that are traveling, we can actually increase the travel budget. So actually this year our travel budget is more than double last year.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
Yeah, no, that's great. 13 artists are coming in. This year's show right now, as of this moment, assuming everything happens and nobody drops, which, I would be surprised if nobody dropped, but as of right now, we have 95 artists in 43 acts.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yes.
You're going to fit that all into 4 hours?
No, we're going to fit that all into 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Wow.
How long had the... Oh.
Well, there are a lot of
math.
no, they're not all the same.
I can do that.
There's a lot of acts that are 90 seconds. We have only 2 acts that are over 4 minutes, which is a switch. I believe that by having more acts that are shorter in duration, people are forced to say what they have to say more succinctly, and subsequently, each act is more densely packed with awesome. Therefore, the overall experience is doubly awesome. So I got the feedback last year when I started that. People said, "Oh yeah, it was just the pace of the show was faster, and people got to see more." So I feel like it brings more diversity to the show, gives more people opportunities, and people really have to be articulate with what they want to say artistically, and they need to make their point clearly. So I think it helps the overall show.
Cool.
Yeah.
Gives more people an opportunity to participate and
yeah.
get that experience too.
More win,
Yeah.
win, 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 win for everybody. Yay, wins.
All around.
Yeah, totally, yeah. Definitely.
What's the date of the expo?
The date is April 27th, 2013. It is, I believe, 7:56 we will be announcing, but the show starts at 8 p.m. sharp. We'll be the first person to light up at 8 p.m.
Cool.
Yeah. Come on out, enjoy it.
Get out early to get a good spot, right? It gets packed out there.
It does. So if you actually really want seating, I recommend that you bring a blanket and a chair and show up more like 6:30, and bring several thermoses and hot toddies. And leave no trace, please. Clean up your crap.
All of it.
Definitely.
Yes, really. I mean, it actually was an issue last year. People were leaving stuff on the plaza. So please clean up after yourselves. In general, in life, actually.
Good rule to have.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about the expo, about the temple? Anything?
Oh
words,
yeah,
words of wisdom?
come take classes. Words of wisdom. Oh boy, I mean, I could
People
go on
trying
hours
to
with that.
establish their own show or establish.
Oh, you can do it. Don't let anybody tell you can't. That's ridiculous. You can do anything that you're willing to persevere through to accomplish. You can. I mean, I would never have thought I could have done this. I mean, I wouldn't have even thought I could have done it. But now, looking in retrospect, I want more people to believe they can, and I think people want to. So
Just
bring
want
it
more
out
people
there.
to get hit in the face. That's what it's all about.
I have to say, if people were
Little
more willing to
Schadenfreude
put
going
things,
on.
but if people were more willing to like put themselves out there in that way of, okay, I'm going to supplicate myself and allow myself to be humble enough to be vulnerable. Like, I think that if we can all step into that place of vulnerability, I think we really have an opportunity to change the world from that place. I mean, no joke. I mean,
Absolutely.
That was
Yeah.
more where my original thought started.
Oh,
and then
yeah,
it came
okay.
out as a joke.
oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I do want more people getting hit in the face. More, can I say more balls in the face?
Say whatever you want. It's a free show.
Free show on the internet.
More balls in the face.
This is as good a way as any. So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you
this
so
was
much
really
for having
fun.
me. This is great.
Yeah,
Thank
awesome.
you so
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I want to give a
Hugs.
big
Yeah,
Yay.
Three, two, go. Keeping that one.